Yo, what's going on Tuesday? Coming in hot. Oh my gosh, we're in Baltimore today. SodaCon today. Carmax selling Teslas today and yesterday and maybe tomorrow. Maybe if there are any
Maybe.
left.
I don't know if there's any left.
Well, they ain't buying them. I'll tell you that much.
They're just throwing them out the boat. They're like, take it, water, take it.
It's like when I saw, we both follow the car dealership guy on Twitter, and he had a picture, and it had a picture. It just said thoughts and prayers going out, and it had a picture of some like Tesla only dealer somewhere with the full lot.
Yes.
And,
I saw with like all in the front, thoughts and prayers. Gonna be struggle bus.
Oh man, yeah. I'll tell you what. Monday was a thing around the halls of Asodu because as is typical, Kyle texts me right while I'm brushing my teeth, ready to go to bed on Sunday night. He's like, I have this thought on what we're planning on doing, but maybe we should do it maybe this way. And then I'm like, great, now I'm supposed to sleep. And then it all revolves around us doing things in a way that you, the listener, the viewer, participant in the retail automotive industry are actually excited about doing. Not rinsing and repeating, not building a better mousetrap, but building something that you are excited to participate in, be part of the community, feel like we see you. And we can't talk about all that yet.
We can't talk about Bruno, you know what I mean? But we can say that we just did, it was kind of typical Monday for a Sodu world. Everybody was like, oh, really? Paul and Kyle tossing wrenches in the middle of the pile.
I could see it in everybody's like Kyle calls the team meeting. We got but here's the thing though. But what we're going to be doing today is walking the venue for a SodaCon 2023, which we're definitely throwing down this year. I don't know if it's going to be 800 people. I don't know if it's going to be 1,500 people, but I think 5, both are very possible.
Y'all can all come.
I don't think 5,000. Do we have 5,000?
I think it's like 1,800. We could
wait till you see the hall that's going to be in. But basically, it's going to be in Baltimore. We're walking the venue. We'll bring you some content from it. I don't know what we're going to do today, but we'll shoot something and we'll record something. Want you to be a part of it, please. And if you're not, check us out on Instagram. Check us out on LinkedIn. The big community, a lot of conversation going on there. And let's talk about all the craziness that's going on in the used car market.
The wild used car market. Well, if you don't remember last week, Tesla said, we're just going to take all these prices and we're going to just reduce them.
Off the new ones. The
new ones. We're going to just drop all the prices, which over the weekend, we've seen a lot of companies and used car sellers, retailers start to look at their used car inventory of Teslas and go, what are we going to do with this? How are we going to incentivize purchasers to come and buy from us when you've got these like up to 20% discounts on new Teslas now coming out and Tesla really pressing into the market? Well, Carmax has dropped their prices on their Teslas by 20% as well and has sold a majority of their Tesla inventory in the last 36 hours.
Like
I think they are like
maybe
over
higher.
60%. Unbelievable.
And we linked an article up about this in the show notes. Also, we got to give a shout out to our boy car dealership guy for always throwing the fire and following what's going on around the industry. So if you think about it, that's a big part of the story, right? We never have really seen a CarMax like liquidate a brand or a model like this we were paying attention to. I'm pretty sure it would have come up if that's happened. Right. But what are you doing? You're sitting in inventory and somebody over there is just like, yo, let's just fire sale these suckers. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with the price. Is there like the price correction on a used Tesla? We're not even going to know what that is for a while. Like, it's going to take a few weeks to figure out what is a rational price for a used Tesla Model Y or Model 3.
Still like level set,
Yeah. Right now it's still like you buy one with 30,000 miles on it and it's still about the same price of a new one, except you can get it right now versus however many weeks it's taking. But that's going to change quickly. But the contrast of the story, like the second layer to it, is the fact that you look at what Carvana's doing with their used Teslas, and it's like nothing ever happened.
Which is even more wild because like I'm listening to overhearing a conversation on the weekend at church, and the guy is like, oh, no, hold off on buying a car because probably in a month, Carvana's going to go bankrupt. So this is that's just pop culture commentary. This is just pop culture commentary. Someone at church, probably 20 feet away from me, is commenting on how he believes that Carvana is about to liquidate their inventory, but they're not doing it with Teslas. So like just recognize that pop culture is paying attention to the volatility in the market. And especially when a brand like Tesla changes their new car prices, everybody's paying attention to the used cars. I mean, everybody was obviously paying attention to CarMax going, hey, look, they've got to do something. Boom, prices drop, inventory goes, right? So what's that communication look like to your employees, to the customers around you? What are you doing with your used Teslas if you are a Tesla retailer and hold those in inventory? Like, there's a lot to be thought about and communicated around this.
No, I wonder if the Carvana thing has something to do with the fact, like, once you sell the loss, you realize it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if there's some level of like kind of corporate handcuffs there. Like, until you really sell it, the loss isn't realized and they're trying to like manage it. Either way, not an easy job to have right now. Used inventory manager at Carmax. Well, I guess they only have used inventory, but inventory manager Carmax, especially if you're paying attention to Teslas. We'll see where this one shakes out, but I think it's just a fascinating story in this level of, you have governmental regulation and you have Tesla and you have CarMax and Carvana and all the shifting sands. And then, like, you brought a texture to the story I wasn't expecting, the pop culture narrative that, like, yeah, Carvana's in trouble. You just pay attention. Like, they're going to be getting rid of some inventory really soon. Don't you worry. Like, I don't know. We'll see if that happens. But speaking of inventory,
Stop.
Segue.
Time.
I was going to say hard jobs to have, and I was going to throw shade on all Stellantis new car dealer, new car inventory managers. Got him. New vehicle inventory has broken the 1.8 million mark, not dollar mark, but volume mark in December, which is the first time it was that high since May of 2021. Cox put that.
Hold on right there.
Yeah.
Do you remember May 2021?
No, not at all. Seriously, don't remember it.
It was like, well, I'm generalizing.
That was when the chip thing happened with the fire, right? It was either like
the boat out at sea or whatever. So right, but until then,
the warehouse, right?
It's hard to remember, but like through 2020 and the beginning of 2021, inventory shortage wasn't even a part of our conversation.
No,
isn't that weird? Like, you think of like 2021, you're like, yeah, inventory shortage. No, it wasn't till about that point when everyone was like, oh, wait, we're not going to have what would that be like? Right. So we're back up to that point. I just want the level set.
Wild. So what it is it's a 58-day supply of new cars, which I don't know if anyone remembers.
Where did that come from?
Right? Actually, all of that is like a 500,000, so 500,000 unit increase since September, said Charlie Chesborough, good friend of ours. He was at a SodaCon, cool. Which was only 3 months ago, and that accounts for a 37% increase in just 3 months. That's wild.
What's going to happen now? I mean, you think of interest rates like, well, I mean, obviously it's not unique. I mean, it's not, uniform across all makes and models, right? Like Toyota dealers, right? Still struggling to keep units on the ground. But like you said, Stellantis dealers, they're like, oh, that incentive word keeps coming up. Right. And so I don't know what's going to happen. None of us know what's going to happen. But again, the landscape is shifting, and it's like the wave, the slosh of inventory might be coming back faster than we think, which brings me to brings to my mind the conversations we were having where it was like, hey, do you think incentives will ever come back? I'm like, yes.
Everybody's like, no, I don't think so.
I don't know. I think we learned our lesson.
They're going to keep it this way. No.
You know why? 2 words: human nature.
Boom.
Also balance sheet. Right? Like, what else?
Wholesale. Oh, that's one word.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah. We can break it into 2. It's what they call that. What is that word? I got to go back to my elementary. It's compound word. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. We are homeschooling family.
Speaking of big words
and families.
Segue.
Time.
All right. Nepotism. Do you know what it means? I mean, you do, but like, I'm asking the general audience.
The general public, typically not.
It sounds like something you get arrested
you're like,
for.
Oh, there's a bunch of nepotism going on over there.
A bunch of nepotists out here. Well, kind of, there is a bunch of nepotists out in the auto industry. Nepotism is basically getting a position, getting a work position, a job because your parents are the bosses or there's a family generational business. We pay attention to the retail industry a lot, and both a Bloomberg article and a Retail Wire piece asks the question, is nepotism all that bad? And I'm going to quote this from the piece. So I didn't know this. The phrase or hashtag Nepo baby, which is a nepotism baby, steadily is trending on social media. It calls out and often shames the children of famous actors, sports figures, musicians, and other artists whose careers have benefited from their parents' contacts. In many cases, their talent is questioned amid suspicions that their stature is not due to merit, but due to nepotism.
See, here's the thing. If you are a parent and you are raising your child and you're like, nah, I'm just not going to help them get anywhere.
You're on your own, kid.
You're on your own. Yeah, I'm not going to leverage any of my relationships, any of my skill, any of my capacity to teach you what I've learned, right? I don't think that's good. So I understand, like, there's a lot of this shame of, hey, are they really good? Would they have made it on their own? The chance is not. Actually, I can't remember who it was in the article was like, oh no, like it takes a fair amount of luck to make it in almost anything. And some of that luck is just that, yeah, Tom Hanks. Some of that luck is just like the family that you were born into. And I think that that's just a reality. Like we've seen apprenticeship happen in families for years and years. I mean, goodness, the retail auto industry is full of it. And yes, are there situations where that's not good for either an industry or even a specific company if that family legacy can't carry it on? Yeah. But by and large, like that's a nature of the way that we interact in life. So
I mean, there's pros and cons, right? Yeah. Let's talk about pros and cons, right?
Pros and cons. Go for it.
Pros and cons. I think a pro is the
I was going to put it up
pros,
here.
Yeah, perfect. We'll fix it pros. Okay, pros of family business nepotism, right? Experience. I want a multi-generation person to service my needs because I would assume, not always the case, but I assume that dad and grandpa and grandma and great-grandma and great-grandpa, they learned a thing or two about the nuances of the business and got really good at it. And I think that when you look at most of history, that's why people had a last name. Because they did what the last name said they did because they made shoes or I don't know what Mount Sears did. I don't know where that one came from.
We didn't do that. Don't worry about it. It's a long story.
Had nothing to do with that. We'll tell it later. Okay, so I think that's a big pro. You can do a pro or a con now. It's your turn.
A con would be that there's some level of like laziness or attention to detail or pursuit, and that there's not an intention that is like deeply rooted in passion or desire or accountability, and that you just kind of like, and I think that's what maybe a lot of people, especially in like this entertainment or sports, is that, well, maybe the son or the daughter is not like passionate or really engaged with what they're doing. So I get it, but I think like we're not going to do all the pros and cons, but I would say that the pros probably outweigh the cons.
I think so. I think in the best case scenario, yes, you have some amazing family-owned businesses that pass down. They involve a lot of people. They understand what it is to raise healthy children and to lead and serve, right? The parents, the grandparents, they teach their kids how to serve other people. And like, great example, like the Sioka family, right? And you watch how that plays out. Thousands of people benefit. Worst case scenario, Junior is a total jerk and they suck. And guess what? The
board of directors gets rid of them anyway.
And the board of directors, or in a much lower case, guess what? It's too competitive out there these days. The retail customer will blow you up and then you're out of business anyway. But that article came up. We thought it'd be great to talk about because there's a lot of family business in automotive, and may there be many more family businesses in automotive from my standpoint and in automotive media.
Exactly. I'll bring my kids right along.
Absolutely. Next generation. Well, we hope we got enough crazy into your head on a Tuesday morning. We're going to be running around Baltimore today. More content to come about ASOTACon 2023. Last week of September, but until then, there's a lot more to do. So.